Is the universe a hologram? This is a big question, and the answer is really interesting, especially because if it's true, then it means that you and I are holograms too. But as I'm going to show, this is actually a really exciting prospect rather than something to freak you out. In fact, you can use your power in the hologram to bring about things like world peace. The fundamental basis for the universe being holographic is that nothing is solid, and that all matter is in fact energy, frequency and vibration in motion. So let's have a look at the physics and see what it says. I'm going to start with a well-known quote from Nikola Tesla, which is this: "Everything is the light." What did he mean? He meant that every atom is light compressing itself into matter. And of course, what are we made of? Atoms. Let's now look at Walter Russell's science. He explained that the atom comprises of a torus field of light that obeys two phases. It compresses itself into matter, and this forms atoms that we can see. This is what happens in our bodies, in plant life, in rocks, or in grains of sand, for example. And then the light ring discharges itself into the ether. So these two phases represent a life and death cycle in an atom. Compression is the life-generating phase, and expansion or discharge is the death phase. And it gets more interesting. The light ring borrows the energy to make itself from a magnetic still point at the center of the light ring. So in order to compress itself into matter, the light ring borrows the energy to spin itself from the magnetic point at the center, which is also known as the 0 point. Why? Because the magnetic point has zero electrical potential, whereas the light ring is electric current in motion. So you have this relationship between the magnetic 0 point and the electric current of the light ring. This explains how all life and every atom is electromagnetic, including us. Atoms consist of electric current spinning around a magnetic still point at the center of the torus field, which means, of course, that this model is incorrect. Is this big news or what? So now let's have a look at our blood cells. This is a picture taken from inside the body. What do you see? Again, you see a torus field of light, and inside that torus field will be a magnetic still point holding the light ring in place. Let's have a look at what the HeartMath Institute found. Two torus fields of electric current around the human body, emanating from the heart. And let's have a look at a NASA picture of a supernova, which absolutely confirms Walter Russell's science. You see the shaft of the 0 point, and then the light rings compressing from each pole, compressing as a light ring in the center. Oh, and one more thing. When you pass electric current down a vacuum tube, you can see what it looks like. It looks like torus fields of light passing down a magnetic still point in the middle, because electric current moves as a torus field of light. So there you have it. On a micro and a macro scale, electric current is the building block of our universe, and it expresses itself as atoms, which are torus fields of light flicking on and off in rapid succession, giving the impression that matter is solid. But actually, all life is a hologram. Everything is the light, including you and me. Now let's talk about the 0 point. The 0 point at the center of each atom is actually a connected magnetic field. It is the field of all potential, because all atoms emerge from this field. And our consciousness and our desires interact with that magnetic point. So it really does matter if you're setting your intentions towards positive outcomes, like gratitude, like love, and of course, like peace. The way that holograms work is that inside one part exists the whole. So we are all fractals of the hologram, and what changes inside us reverberates into the whole. I'll do a part 2 about this and go into more depth about it. But imagine if you want more peace in the world, you can go and demonstrate and shout at everyone you think is wrong, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you can also drop into your heart space and say something like this: "May I be the peace that's waking up in the world." Feel that. And if more and more people did this and changed their contribution to the hologram, then the hologram would have to respond to each part of its whole. I hope you found that interesting, and if you want to learn how your light body is affected by phone radiation, check us out at omniaradiationbalancer.com, where you can learn how to bring your body back to balance every time you're using a wireless device.